As a business leader, do you think it's important to minimize assumptions while you're making decisions? If you do, this episode may help you do that. If this video helps you in any way, I would love to hear from you. Please share, subscribe, put something in the comments if you find something useful about this video. Even if you don't, I'd love to hear from you because I'm always looking to improve. Thanks. So this guy behind me right there, if you don't know who he is, I didn't know what he looked like, but I knew who he was. His name is William of Ockham. You could think of him in a sense as sort of being, though I don't think he was strictly speaking a scientist, he was interested in reason and logic. He was a Franciscan monk and a philosopher and a logician. He's famous for something we now know as Occam's razor. Looking at Wikipedia, I learned something about that I didn't know before, and that was, it wasn't the simplest explanation is the best explanation. It's close, but it's an important distinction. So when you're making assumptions in your business in that, or when you're making decisions in your business, anything you assume, of course, we know the old adage about what assuming does. But what's really important here is if you minimize assumptions, you are maximizing the probability that what your decision is correct, and the probability that it will be successful or have the effect you intended to have, simply because you're making fewer assumptions. Assumptions are things that are, by definition, we either don't have the information or cannot verify that that information is correct. So the more assumptions you stack on top of one another, the more likely it is that one of those assumptions will be mistaken and that it will change the results. So it's pretty clear why people would assume that another assumption, assume that his message is the simpler the better, when in fact here is at least a translated quote. I don't know if he was an English friar or not. I don't know, Franciscan, but it says entities should not be multiplied beyond necessity. In other words, when you have different ways of explaining the way something works, choose the one that has the fewest assumptions. Now, this is directly quoted as the previous piece was from Wikipedia, and that is, when presented with two competing hypotheses about the same prediction, one should select the solution with the fewest assumptions. So it doesn't mean always choose the simplest, though that often is the effect. It means make as few assumptions as you can to explain what the results that you see. Now, in terms of decision making, the same thing happens. When making your decision, base it as much as you can on facts and data and results, and as little as you absolutely possibly can on assumptions, things that you can't verify, things that you don't know. And that will just increase the probability that you will make a good decision that will have, as I said before, the effect you're hoping that it will have. That's really all I want to say today, is that make fewer assumptions to make better decisions. Thank you for listening. This has been Crush It Club, episode 99, How to Simplify Business Decisions. My name is Tim B. Green. Bye for now.